What three things you will be able to do if you re-elected?
Yeah, three things. I think there's 100 things, and one thing I'm most proud of is just representing residents on the everyday things, right? So I get calls about things big and small, and you might see the big accomplishments on the news.
Most welcome to our special program, Our Voice. Uh, Dear listener and viewers, our Voice is a program where we try to focus on our community leaders to say something to our community people, and we bring forward our community leaders so that they can be more engaged with our people. So today we are here to talk to Mr. Bollman, the upcoming elections candidate for Lovejoy district. We must congratulate and wish Mr. Bollman a success in future in this election. Congratulations, Mr. Bollman.
Thank you so much.
And obviously, thank you very much for giving us time to Buffalo Times audience to speak something about us.
Sure.
And very simple thing we're going to be asking you. Number one is, would you please say something about your background? I mean, you're born, your education, and how ended up in politics.
Yeah, so it's an interesting story, but I was born right here in Buffalo, um, born right in the Lovejoy district, and I've lived here for a majority of my 39 years. Um, my interest in politics really came from working in the Lovejoy district office. I served under the former council member. I worked as his chief of staff and legislative assistant for 13 years.
Mhm.
So that really gave me the experience to be able to do the job. I got to talk to the residents every single day on the phone and make relationships. So that's really, I don't necessarily see myself as someone who went to school and wanted to be the politician. It just kind of naturally developed because I worked with the residents. But grew up in Buffalo, went to the University at Buffalo. I was a block club president for many years right here in the Lovejoy neighborhood. I served in the East Lovejoy Coalition of Neighbors as president for about 3 years. And then I ran for council because the former council member, he was moving on to another position. He had served for 20 years. So it really just worked out naturally. And it was because I had that experience. I knew what to do in the job. And that was really important for my first term. So I was elected in 2020. My first 3 months in office, we dealt with a global pandemic with COVID. So
Huge challenge.
it was a big challenge, and I did not, that experience really took me a long way because I knew who to call. City Hall, never did I imagine a day where City Hall would shut down, but it really did. So we were networking, working from home. And so that experience really gave me the ability to work through the challenges.
Oh, thank you very much for being. It's wonderful that our viewers is now having a natural leader, has been engaged with people like more than 20 years.
Yeah.
That's great. Here in this Western society, we see people, an individual can be served by different agencies, government, non-government, so many. So they have that opportunities to get served. But you were working with the community. So how do you match? How do you think that the community should be engaged and community should be put forward?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And one thing that I've tried to do in my first 4 years is I feel like a lot of programs and resources that are available to residents go underused. A lot of the home repair programs, the first-time home buyer programs, those are things that aren't being used as much as possible. So I've tried to really build platforms, build partnerships with different agencies. I always work very close with our police, our community police. And just throughout my first term, I've tried to get information out to residents more than ever. Today, we attended a job fair at the convention center, which I helped sponsor. And we had, it looked like over 100 different vendors. The Buffalo Police were there talking about their job fair, ECMC Roswell. We're really trying to bring these agencies all under one roof and give opportunity to the community. And your question is kind of the opposite of how can the community participate. I would take it to the police as a very good example of community policing, right? Let's engage, let's build systems. The Universal Charter School on Genesee Street, they have been very helpful in kind of policing their area. A lot of their students and members are living right in those areas. So they've set up systems with Buffalo Police, the Buffalo Safe Cam program, where the police work in tandem with the community. They're able to get resources and information to the residents. And I think that's a helpful partnership. So really just being open to collaborate. And for us, government officials, where I can try to help is try to get that information out to the residents and really just work in collaboration.
So, do you think this district is well up with police staffing? Like, do you have enough
So
police forces so that they can respond to the people?
Yeah, so that's one challenge that the city has always struggled with is having enough police officers. We have roughly 800 police officers in each district. We have 5 different districts. The Lovejoy district encompasses 3 of those districts. So I have to go to 3 different chiefs meetings, keep up relationships with 3 different police chiefs. And, when I first started, I would say we're always going to feel like we don't have enough police officers, but we do the best we can with our budget, which is a really big issue too. The city of Buffalo budget is a major thing that will impact the future generations in the next couple of years. I feel like the decisions we make on the budget are going to be very impactful on the city of Buffalo.
So far, I know every candidate is putting forward this issue for more police staff.
Sure.
So you all council people, they're going to be put pressure on the city to get more police forces.
Sure, I support police. I work with police every single day. I will staff them to the max that we can. And through my term last budget season, we hired at least 11 new detectives that were spread out throughout across the district. And our district, which mostly encompasses Lovejoy, the C district, did get more detectives. So we've been proactive on that, and we've tried to get more officers.
Hopefully it's gonna be solved.
Yep.
You get more
and we'll
staff.
continue to budget for the Buffalo Police. I always ask the police commissioner. So the mayor presents the budget, then we have the different departments come into the city and talk to us whenever the police commissioner comes in. I always ask them, do you have enough officers? Do you feel like you're fully staffed? Do you have enough vehicles? That was an issue too. We had to, over the last 3 years, we bought 20, through the capital budget, we got 20 vehicles. We leased some more vehicles. So we've been trying to work on this, and it all comes down to funding issues, but I do support it.
Very good. So this is your second time running in the office, right?
Yes.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
So can you say us something that what are the major achievements you had in these past couple of years?
That's the really interesting thing is, the pandemic caused really big budget issues. So the first 2 years of we were looking at budgets that were just decimated, not much money. But now we have the stimulus money. So there are so many big projects coming. And what I've really tried to focus on, because what the residents tell me is they want to see walkable communities, right? Safe, walkable communities. So we've competed for grants on commercial corridors. We were able to get grants for our commercial corridors where the businesses will have funding to make repairs. So that's one of my major accomplishments. I think I'm very proud of, as education chairman, I've worked really hard to make our schools safer. That was a major thing. I work directly with the superintendent of Buffalo Public Schools and the school board, looking at school safety, and they have made improvements to the school safety systems when you come in, and they've added security. That was important to me. I pushed for halal foods in all of Buffalo Public Schools. That was coming from the Lovejoy district.
Wonderful.
Listened to the residents. They came into me and they talked about needing, halal foods. We started with a pilot program.
And our community is already very much happy with that.
That's good.
Thank you very much.
And I was looking and it's like, I think it should have been done earlier, but it was just, I'm glad we were able to accomplish that. We have many projects coming for parks, community centers. So that's speaking to recreation places for community and the residents to go and have a safe environment. community centers. When I walked around the first time I ran for office, many residents said that they needed a gym in the Schiller Park neighborhood. So I'm advocating for the community center there, the George Arthur Center. We're trying to build a gymnasium on the back. We've been able to do some really cool things. So those are just a couple highlights, but I've really listened to the residents, and that's how I formed my agenda. So they wanted to see their commercial corridors come back. They wanted to see their parks clean, community centers clean. So those are some of the things we've been working on top of some of the more boring things, right, on the finance committee and the budget. But
thank you very
we work
much.
hard every day.
I guess our viewers are gonna be interested about knowing something about the crazy weather, the last blizzard, what
yes,
had
thank
happened.
you,
So,
thank you.
what is there any plan of the city or for facing this type of blizzard or crazy weather again?
Yeah.
What type of plan do we
Sure.
have?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked. I think the city has to be ready for a plan. No more, not having safe spaces for residents when we're in a blizzard and places to go when the power goes out. So I propose something called the Warm Up Act, and I'm asking that in each neighborhood, how we have schools, right? We have community centers, senior centers. In each neighborhood, find one building that's the best asset. Make sure it has a backup generator. Make sure it has beds and cots. Make sure it has some food and supplies. So that way, when people are struggling to get somewhere, I will say a lot of our community stepped up. Right here in Lovejoy, there was a church that welcomed hundreds of families in, and they were allowed to able to protect them. So it was a blessing that was there. But I think it's incumbent upon the city to be able to do that as well. So that's one thing I'm pushing for, in the fact of making it safer. We're also pushing for more plows, right? More equipment. They have
Vehicles to
yes,
move
yeah,
around.
yeah. We got that
Ambulances.
machine. We bought that one machine where it lifts up vehicles, because the problem is the cars will get stuck, then the plows can't get through, and then the streets in trouble. So now we're going to have the ability to remove those vehicles. We're going to have the ability to plow better, and I'm continually pushing the Public Works Department for more equipment.
Yeah, of course, we hope not to get that type of crazy weather
True,
again.
I can't control the weather, but we can control what happens after.
Okay, this is the last, now the least question. What three things you will be able to do if you re-elected?
Yeah, 3 things. I think there's 100 things. And one thing I'm most proud of is just representing residents on the everyday things, right? So I get calls about things big and small, and you might see the big accomplishments on the news. But one thing I'm really interested in is jobs. I'm interested in finding meaningful employment for our residents. That's why I was at the job fair. We're going to continue to do those monthly across, bring it into the neighborhoods, right? So more jobs, seeing all these projects in the parks completed, seeing our commercial corridors come back to what they were, revitalize this community. And overall, I'm starting a resolution that I'll be introducing next month about landlords, and quality of life is really what it speaks to, right? There are properties that I've driven past for 4 years now, and I've been calling inspections, I've been calling different departments. Hey, can we take care of this property that's not in good shape, that has, the porch collapsing, the grass hasn't been cut, there's garbage there for years. So I'm getting more aggressive on those properties. I personally go to housing court quite a bit and talk with the judge, work with the judge, but we have to find ways where all these departments work together to be able to address the problems. I can't stand the blight anymore, or I'm going to be quality of life council member.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, so far you heard Mr. Bollman, the natural leader, one of the most popular councilmen in Buffalo. He has had his achievements. He has planned for the future, and he is eager to serve the community. So this is your turn to serve him. This is the election time. Come forward, show your interest, and speak to them, learn what they want to do for the community, and take the decision. Thank you very much for watching with us. Thank you, Mr. Bollman,
Thank you so
for
much.
giving time to Buffalo Times. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.